All right, so I'm sitting here with Eric Kraus, the owner of Aleph. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself and the boat that we're sitting on here. So I guess, Eric, the first question is, tell us a little bit about yourself and, what you do.
Well, like I guess a lot of people in the boating industry, I'm a bond trader. I worked in finance in Moscow for about 10 years to 2007. And in 2007, I figured it was time to try something new. So I came to live in Bali, and coming to Indonesia, I wanted to travel around. I wanted to see the east of Indonesia, and really the only way to do that was by boat. And I couldn't find a boat which suited what I wanted. I had my own sort of dream of a boat, so I decided to build it. I thought this was going to be a quick and relatively easy and painless process, and I was wrong. It was a huge undertaking. I started by building the hull in Sulawesi and the traditional villages of Bira. They build them on the beach, there are no shipyards. And they build them like they've been building them for several hundred years. The dark wood is ironwood, and they've been building them out of ironwood since basically the 17th century. I contracted and supervised the building of the hull and the infrastructure there, but trying to follow the traditional design as much as possible, let's say up to the deck line. It's a pinisi up to the waist, and it's a yacht from the waist up, because there, of course, we use lots of modern technology and try to make it as comfortable as possible. The funny thing is, the hull was built without any architectural drawings, without any diagrams. It was a picture in the Haji's mind, and he builds up from the keel. And we don't even know how long it's going to be, really. I mean, we knew it was going to be about 38 meters, it was going to be 39 or 37, we didn't know. The interiors are all computer-aided design and laser measures. So there was a funny juxtaposition of the two technologies.
Cool, so it's sort of a mixture between, obviously, traditional and modern taste, yeah.
That's right. I mean, in terms of navigation, we've got everything redundant. We've got radar, we've got the plotters, the GPS, 3 computers in the wheelhouse, always on broadband internet, all the bells and whistles. But the boat doesn't feel like a modern yacht. It feels like a traditional vessel, which is what I wanted. I'm on the boat about 3 months a year, and we charter it about 8 or 10 weeks. Keep the crew happy, keep the boat working, and cover the expenses. I have a crew of like 14 or 15 people, basically 8 or 9 navigational. They're all Bugis, who are like the traditional sailors of Indonesia from South Sulawesi. They've been sailing for several hundred years. They have salt water in their veins. They're very good sailors. But for service personnel, they'd be a little dodgy. So we have Balinese. The Balinese are much more refined, much more gentle. So we've got in terms of services, we've got a cook, generally very good cook, couple of helpers, and some room boys. And then I've got my Swedish cruise director, David, who's also our dive guide. And he sort of manages, the interaction between the crew and the guests. It's what the captain would do in Europe, but out here the captain is Indonesian. He speaks some English, but mostly he manages the boat and David manages the service side. We've got a couple of very fast speedboats. We've got all the toys, water skis and wakeboards and stuff, especially for the kids. We've got sea kayaks, full diving, compressor, nitrox, about 30 tanks. So we don't do full-on dive charters with, 10 divers 5 times a day, but a lot of our guests like to dive, so we provide pretty much what people want. Mostly we work in the areas which have the best ocean, which are the Komodo National Park near Bali, and Raja Ampat, which is West Papua, which are some of the most beautiful cruising grounds on Earth. I like to spend time there, so I position the boat there as much as I can.
Why Bali? Why Indonesia? What drew you there in the first place?
Indonesia is for the ocean. I mean, we built Indonesia. We've sailed Thailand, India, Andamans, Burma, and there's no place like home. There is nothing quite like Indonesia from a cruising standpoint. It's totally unspoiled. The Indonesians make it a bit difficult for foreign yachts to operate there. So we do not, you can cruise for days without seeing another foreign vessel. Just traditional, sea gypsies and fishermen. And the ocean is really beautiful. There's great diving, huge deserted beaches, and it's just a different. You feel closer to the ocean in Indonesia. You know, Thailand, everything is built up and everything is sort of commercial. In Indonesia, it's more like exploration. It's adventure. We call it luxury adventure travel. If somebody wants 4 kinds of champagne and wants to sit on the fantail sipping martinis, then Saint-Tropez is the place to go. If you want sort of the adventure and the beauty, I mean, Indonesia, some of it's really beautiful. There's 16,500 islands. Komodo is amazing. And, you know, we've got the Komodo dragons, which is the world's largest land reptile. We've got a lot of wildlife, a lot of nature is still there. And there are not a lot of places you can get it anymore. A lot of the traditional cruising grounds and other places have been spoiled or are being spoiled. So Indonesia in some ways seems like the last resort.
Okay. I guess one last question here. LLF is an interesting name. What does it mean and why did you choose it?
It probably wasn't my brightest idea. People have trouble pronouncing it. It's E-L-A-L-E-P-H. It means the first in Arabic, and it's my first boat. I don't know how to say the last in Arabic, but it's also my last boat, I think. It's the first letter of the Arabic alphabet. It's also the first silent letter of all the names, the secret names of God in the Hebrew alphabet. And finally, it's a story by Borges, the great Argentine author. And El Aleph is like it's a sphere the size of a grapefruit. It's from 11th century Arabic mythology, a sphere the size of a grapefruit, where you see the past, the present, and the future all at once from all possible angles. And I guess building it, that's pretty much what I saw.
Awesome, fantastic. Well, yeah, it definitely looks like that. So I guess let's go take a look at it.
Certainly.
All right, thanks.